This week at the Frog Pond Veg Patch, I'm going to share my top 5 tips for getting your flower garden ready for winter. These simple steps will not only give you a head start when spring arrives, but will help promote interest in your garden even in the winter. Before we dive in, make sure to click that like button and subscribe if you want more no fuss, practical organic gardening tips. And stick around to the end, and I'll share a bonus tip that could save you a lot of time and work next spring. Now, let's get started. Put away canes, hoops, and other supports that you were using in your flower beds or in your vegetable garden. Once everything is clean and dry, store your supplies in a protected space for next year. This is a good opportunity to take inventory. Make note of what you might need to add or replace for next year. Tip number 2 is to keep a garden journal. You can certainly journal all year round, but as things settle down in the fall and head into winter, I find it's a great time to slow down and reflect on the garden. With a journal, I can write down my thoughts for what I'd like to be able to do next year, what worked, and maybe what didn't work in the past season. In the fall, we often think about cleaning up the garden, but tip 3 is actually the opposite. Now is the time to consider leaving spent plants, particularly perennials, to provide habitat for wildlife and for providing overall winter interest in your garden. Wildlife benefits from an untidy garden. So insects will burrow and hibernate at the base of perennials, and birds will continue to snack on seeds remaining on your perennials. And I find the garden at this time of year an elegant contrast to the vibrancy of summer, as plants take on golds and reds, coppers and bronzes. As the stalks sway in the chilly breeze, I still see life in the garden, even when everything has seemingly gone to sleep. Now, some plants do need a bit of cleanup to make them ready for winter. Peonies, for example, prefer to have the dead foliage cut back and removed. It has done its job for the summer, and now it is time for the plant to be dormant until next spring. Hostas are another example, as it is a good idea to clean up dead leaves, which otherwise may harbor disease that could affect the plants next year. Now, you certainly don't have to leave every perennial, so cut back what feels right to you. Personally, I tend towards leaving more than I cut back because I enjoy looking out on the snowfall and still seeing the structure of seasons past. Tip 5 is to do your garden cleanup when it works for you. That means you don't have to do every last little thing before a certain date in the fall. If your autumn season is busy, you can decide what you can do now and what can wait until spring. Cutting back plants, that can wait till spring when new growth begins to emerge. And even leaving some leaf litter, especially in the margins of wooded areas, provides a lot of benefit to wildlife as habitat and shelter for the winter. So you don't have to chase after every leaf that falls into your yard. Once you understand how your garden responds to the seasons, you may find that some of the so-called rules really aren't rules after all. Time for the bonus tip. And this is an idea that can really help save you time in the spring, and that is labeling. Now is a good time to label plants that you might want to divide or those plants that you'd like to move to a different location. Doing it now means that when spring comes around, you've already got a plan and you know which plants to work on first. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you look for ways to keep interest in your garden even in the winter. Please remember to like and subscribe, and if you'd like more tips about getting your garden ready for winter, or you'd like to maybe grow salad greens outside during the winter season, you can check out these videos here. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and happy gardening.